also, I would like to say that whenever I start off small, I always get carried away when it comes to blush, and we've all seen it a million times. Did I get carried away today too? Yeah, probably I did. Hey, welcome to my video. If you're from my Instagram, I love you, and if you're not from my Instagram, love you all the same. Welcome to a first impression and review video where I'll be trying Game Beauty for the first time. Now, I just recently found out about this brand when they so gracefully contacted me and wanted to send me some of their stuff, and I said yes. Everything you see in this video is PR. Thank you so much, Game Beauty. And I didn't pay a dime for it. However, in that same breath, I want you to know that I'm not obligated to post it in any way, shape, or form, much less review it. But if you've been watching this channel for a hot minute, you know that I just love playing with makeup, trying new stuff, reviewing things, and today is no different. And so that's exactly what I'm gonna do. And while, again, I am very grateful to them for sending their stuff my way, if it doesn't work out for me, then I'm gonna say so. Not all makeup works out for everybody, and I think that's completely fine. So if this doesn't work out for me today, I am gonna let you know. But that's it with the disclaimers. Without further ado, here's the video. Okay, so all I have on right now is my brows done, some lip balm, and my eyeshadow primer, and we're gonna get started with the eyeshadow. So I'm not gonna be doing too much of an elaborate look today. I have to film after this, and then I have to be somewhere later. So we're keeping it simple. My thing is, my idea, right, is just to do a sort of smoky liner with some shimmer. That's sort of my go-to if I'm in a rush, so let's see how it works out. Before we begin, I would also like to note that when it comes to eyeshadows, I am, in fact, very picky, and I know this, so keep that in mind. So I'm taking the Maria palette from the Attack on Titan collection and a detailed brush. This is very dense, and I'm dipping into shade Whole, which in the pot seems to be like a dark, cool toned type of brown, and I'm just sketching out the eyeliner shape that I want. One thing I do have to say about the brand before we really get into how exactly this whole thing works is that the packaging is top tier. If you've watched my channel before, you know that I love fun packaging. You know that I love packaging with the story, and this definitely is very fun, and it does have a story. And like, honestly, I would be very proud and like hype to take out one of these little lip glosses out of my bag and show it to people. It's super fun, and so I love that. So there's definitely some brownie points there for that. And also, now that I'm working the eyeshadow in a little bit, so far so good. Everything looks to be in order. So it looks exactly like it does in the pan, so it's true to that color. Also, I have no fallout on my face thus far. There is just a tiny speck of fallout in the pan, but that's always the case and always to be expected, and it's not an ungodly amount so far. However, I have just begun, so I will let you know. But so far, it's performing just like any other good eyeshadow that I would normally use. Now I'm just taking a small detailed fluffy blending brush, and this is the Sigma E36, and there is absolutely nothing on it. It is clean, and I'm just sort of buffing out the edges of that liner just so it looks a tad bit more smoky, and then we'll continue. Now moving on to Palette Sina, and I'm using that same small dense brush that I used before, and I'm dipping into shade Wall, and now I'm applying that right above that darker brown shade that I applied first. This in the pan now though looks like it would be a little bit of a warmer brown, but also a little bit lighter than the shade before, and that's exactly what I want, so that's perfect. Now on the skin, that's exactly what it's giving as well, though I must say I am really intrigued to see how they're gonna blend together. That's gonna be really interesting. Okay, now back to the E36 brush, and I'm just blending this out further. I really want it to be as smoky as possible. Okay, you know what? That blended out perfectly, so you better work. Now that that's done, that looks pretty good already. However, my too much gene, as Jenna Marbles so lovingly coined it, is constantly working, is constantly doing too much, so I'm gonna take it a step further, and I'm gonna go in with the third palette, Rose, and dip into shade Choice. Now, in the pan, this looks like it is a slightly shimmery shade. It's not giving me full-on shimmer mode. It has a few 2 pieces of glitter in it, so I think it'll do just fine with blending this out. But also, even if not, I'm gonna slather this whole thing in shimmer later anyways, so it'll be fine either way. So with that shade, I'm dipping in directly with the E36 brush and dusting it on above the last shade I applied. So honestly, this is also blending out like a dream as well. I'm having no problems using these shades, and it is true to pan too. Now let me see the shimmer. Honestly, yeah, just like in the pan, I see a few errand specks of like shimmer or glitter on my lid, but nothing too crazy, so it's exactly as promised. Now I'm just gonna do the same thing on the other eye. Also, I want to say these are pretty pigmented too, and while I'm using them, they don't seem chalky at all. They don't seem dry. They work well with each other, so pretty much everything that I'm looking for in an eyeshadow. Okay, so now before I move on to the shimmer, I'm gonna take the same shades that I already used, just apply them in reverse order. And I literally do this all the time, and it's just because sometimes the initial intensity of the shades that you apply gets lost the more that you blend them, and that's perfectly normal, happens all the time. So I'm just gonna go in one more time until I like how intense it looks. Okay, now that's done, and I'm much more satisfied with the way that looks. Of course, don't mind this mess underneath. I'm gonna clean it up later. But first, shimmer. Now, when it comes to shimmer, okay, we have a tough decision to make because the shimmers in these palettes are so beautiful. I love shimmery eyeshadow, by the way, so that makes me really excited, and I literally don't know which one to pick because honestly, with a base like this, you could go for shade Wake from the Cinna palette, you could go for shade Heart from the Maria palette, or you could even go from basically any of the shades from the Rose palette. So you know what? It's a tough decision. I think I might have to swatch some of these to just really figure it out. By the way, I am also going to insert a little clip here just so you can see how much fallout there was. Honestly, it's barely noticeable. I would say maybe you can see the most amount of fallout in shade Wall, but it's completely acceptable and not at all a problem. Okay, now let's get down to swatching business. Okay, so I turned the flash on so that you're able to see how much these shine, and also that some of these give off a very duochrome type of shift. And this was also just one swipe, so I'm very satisfied with the way that they look. But it's also a very tough decision. However, I think I might want to use shade Chain from the Maria palette. It's this sort of beautiful duochrome pink, blue, purple shift, and I really like it, so that's what I'm gonna use. So I'm taking that. Ooh, okay. Okay, do you see her? Oh, okay, she's definitely visible. I'm taking that on a flat brush and applying that sort of everywhere I want it. Honestly, I'm kind of gagged because these seem like the type of shades, just as many shimmers are, that would be more difficult to apply with the brush. However, this is nothing of the sort. It's so pretty. I don't know how well you can see, sometimes the big light that I have going on here washes things out, but depending on how you move your head, it definitely is a very duochrome vibe. And on the eye, it's even taking on a new shape, like it's giving green a little bit. And honestly, slay. I love that. I'm just taking my blending brush and blending it out just a little bit. Honestly, I think with my vibe today, with the pink going on, maybe shade Change from that same palette would have been a bit of a better choice for the color palette that I have going on today. But honestly, maybe we can also layer it on later. But I do love me a duochrome moment, and so I'm really obsessed with this. Now I'm doing the same thing to the other eye. To be fair, this has some more fallout, obviously, but that's completely normal. Most shimmers do. But I'm just saying that to you so that you can keep that in mind if fallout is a deal breaker to you personally. To me, it's not, unless it's a crazy amount, but this is not that at all by any stretch of the imagination. Okay, beautiful, blended, lovely. Now question, should we stop here or should we layer? I think I might want to try layering a little bit just in the middle of my eye. Just a tiny bit, okay? I won't ruin it, I promise. You know what? I can never promise that I'm not going to ruin my makeup because of my too much jeans, so let me not say that, girl. I took just a little bit of shade Change on that same flat brush. I cleaned it off beforehand though. I'm just applying it in the very, very middle. Honestly, I don't know if you can even notice it because that blended in with that previous shimmery shade so seamlessly. Because they both have this sort of duochrome factor to them, it looks like it's meant to be. So you know what? Love that. So there we go. I really love how that turned out. It's so pretty, and I was gonna say simple, but honestly, duochrome shades elevate any look, so it's really not that simple anymore. Now, I'm gonna go clean off my eyes and apply my base, which I've done 1,000 times on camera. It's super boring and you don't wanna see it, and that's not the point. Yada yada anyways. Once I come back, we have arguably my favorite part of any routine, which is blush. And we also have a bunch of lip glosses to try out. As you were able to see in the beginning, they did also send me some liners and eyelashes, but none of the eyeliner colors that I received would really go with this look per se. So I'm not gonna force that. And when it comes to eyelashes, I really don't wear them in the house for no reason. And even when I do wear them actually out, it's on very rare occasions. So I'm not gonna be using them today, but I will use them at some point and report back in the future to you. Let me go get my face on and I'll be right back. And I'm back. Okay, so small disclaimer, I said this in a previous video. This is not my usual shade for my foundation, okay? However, my body got pretty tan over the summer and my face and décolletage area didn't. So I'm trying to match the face to the body. Does it work? Not often, but am I trying? Yes, I am. Anyways, now we can move on to blush. And for blush, they sent me 2 shades, both of which I love. One is very unique. It's this sort of very pretty purple lilac shade, very unique. And the next one, oh my god, I don't want to play favorites, but can you please look? You don't know how long I've spent trying to search for a true red blush like this, so obviously we have to try this one today. Get ready to clown with me. I always apply too much blush because I love blush and I get overly excited, but I'm just taking it on a blush brush and applying it to my cheeks. I didn't use too much. I didn't apply too much on the brush just because I don't know what it's giving in terms of pigmentation, although oof, that's showing up pretty nicely, honestly. Also, I would like to say that whenever I start off small, I always get carried away when it comes to blush, and we've all seen it a million times. Did I get carried away today too? Yeah, probably I did. But this looks very pretty on the skin. Oh, that's so pretty. Oh, that's so pretty. That is a pinchable cheek. That, I love blush. I'm so sorry. I love blush. We need to talk about blush. People don't talk about blush often enough. Oh, wow. And it gives such a nice healthy glow, but it's not shimmery at all. It's very matte and pretty. Okay, well, just as I thought, carried away, I'm gonna have to try and seamlessly blend this into the skin, because I certainly did apply too much, as always, which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing. Like, if you love a lot of blush, apply a lot of blush, and I do, but sometimes I be looking at old photos and I know I look crazy, so one could definitely say I have blush blindness, but also that's really pretty, so who cares? And now, last but certainly not least, the lips. So what I was thinking of doing was just, you know, lining my lips with my usual lip liner and then topping it off with one of these gorgeous glosses here. I am at a crossroads. I do not know which one to use, but I'll figure it out along the way, I'm sure. Anyway, first things first, lip liner. So this is a ColourPop lip liner, which I love, and I'm just gonna overline my lips a little bit. Now that that's done, for the lip gloss, honestly, tough call because they all look very beautiful, but I'm gonna use shade Levi. Honestly, it's a very beautiful peachy neutral gloss, but it has these like gold reflex in it, so I'm excited to see how that would pair with everything. So let's see. Ooh, that looks so cute. Ooh, and formula, surprisingly, very non-sticky. I didn't mean to say surprisingly, okay? That sounded very mean, like I was expecting these to be bad, but that's not it. But you know, sometimes with lip glosses, they look beautiful, but you never know what they feel like on the lips. This one actually feels very nice. I'm pleasantly surprised. And it looks very cute on the lips as well. It has a nice level of pigmentation, not too much, but perfect enough for this look that I have going on here. However, all of these have varying degrees of pigmentation, which is great because sometimes you want your gloss to be more pigmented, other times not really. So you can pick and choose your own destiny, you know? Now that I'm done, let me go take out my hair and add some highlighter, and I'll be right back here for final thoughts. Back again, so let's talk. Honestly, I was very very pleasantly surprised with everything that I tried here today. Like I mentioned, the eyeshadows, great. They work just as they're supposed to. Very smooth, very blendable. I had no trouble with them at all. Barely any fallout. The color is true to the pan. Also, honorable mention, the packaging for all of the products here today because it really is super fierce. And I also think that the color stories of these palettes that I received are very fun. And you know, I will say one thing, big up to big giant eyeshadow palettes because you know I love those. One of my favorites still to this day is the Be Perfect X The Vivian palette. So versatile, you can take it anywhere. It has everything you need. However, I will say I have been getting into smaller palettes recently because they're just so tiny, compact, and you can take them traveling anywhere. And I really love that. So these are the perfect size. Then moving on to the blush, I mean, you see it. What is there to say? It looks so pretty. And I also didn't have any trouble blending it in. It's very smooth. Color is perfect. It's also very buildable, so you could get it like even more pigmented than this, obviously. And I really do love that. It also didn't disrupt anything that I had going on underneath the blush either. And then these glosses, now this packaging, honestly elite. I've said that 20 seconds ago, but come on, look how fun. And like I said, the formulation, surprisingly very easy to wear on the lips. Comfortable, it's watery, but it's not too watery to the point where it bleeds out. Sometimes that happens. And it's very pretty on the lips. I love the shade. And also another plus is that all of these lip glosses have different degrees of pigmentation going on, which is great if you want to choose your own journey. And I think when we do our makeup, we always do want to do that. All in all, big up to Game Beauty. Thank you so much once again for sending me all of this. And I can't wait to get to play with these products a little bit more. And big up to you guys for watching this video. If you made it this far, then thank you so much. I love you lots. If you liked the video, then please consider liking, subscribing, maybe even commenting, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.